what's going down? This is the Cheerz of the Real podcast. I am Mr. Tom Brody. I'm rocking out here with a new episode. Real New York underground culture blasting off with my people, the fam. New York icons, we be foolish. What's poppin', my people? What's poppin'? What's poppin'?
What's good, yo? This is Yesh in the place to be with my G. You know what I'm saying? We doing that cheers to the real. Actually, let me take a sip. Cheers, brother.
Salute. Cheers to the real.
Salute, primo.
Yo, what up? It's Cam Boogaloo, rapping the We Be Foolish crew, and rapping for my brother.
Absolutely.
XO, definitely rapping for the big producer, DJ Bless.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
They can't be here though. Next time they'll slide through.
Absolutely. We'll get them up here. We'll blast off,
sure.
chop it up. So let's give the people, because everyone that comes up is always like-minded. Everyone that comes up is passionate, which is the essence of the show of Cheers of the Real, saluting like-minded people or artists that kind of, do it out of a labor of love. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So let the people know, how do we fall in love with hip-hop? How do we even come full circle into hip-hop? How do we make it into a hobby, into a profession? Let people know.
All right, well, we've always been like in the culture before we was artists, you know what I'm saying? More like we were engulfed in like the idea of hip-hop music, art, like the artists that we like followed, that we looked up to, and you know what I mean? And that was the inspiration of all this, like, your everyday, like, being in high school and having a Walkman, and that's like your struggle is real. And then when you start to meet up with people like your friends, or you guys are doing, and then you realize that you could do it too. That's how you kind of.
And when we say neighborhood, I want to, again, this is an audio show, so people can understand. Let the people know when we say neighborhood, where you from.
Yeah. Well, me and Kenny both grew up in Brighton Beach. Actually, we went to kindergarten.
And that's Brighton Beach.
Yeah,
that's Brighton Beach, Brooklyn, basically.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Brighton Beach, Brooklyn. Got 2 stops away from Coney Island.
Absolutely.
And you know what I'm saying? Not too far away from everywhere else.
Yeah.
Marlboro.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like we all close. It's like it's a
well slept on neighborhood.
It's a lot of things over there going on. You know what I'm saying? A lot of talented people.
Absolutely.
That, it's pretty slept on, but
South Brooklyn is definitely slept on. There's a lot of talented people.
Yeah.
I think also when you start, like, because we had that common ground, like we're friends, we know each other, we from the neighborhood, like, but then when we have that common ground that we're like really into the music,
right?
That's when we're like, yo, we need to kind of get together and be proactive in that way. And then luckily we had people that were in our neighborhood that like participated in hip hop culture, you know what I mean? Even before
in the culture, right?
Yeah, because we have like this history there too, like, you know what I'm saying, like breakdancing.
Mm-hmm.
There was a crew that was based on a lot of our OGs from the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like our first taste of it. Kenny used to roll with
I know.
and be breakdancing with them as a little kid, you know what I'm saying?
As a little kid, there was a crew called Twice as Nice. Shout out to rest in peace to the OG Juan Fury.
Nice.
And a lot of the A-Rock, everybody out there that used to, they used to do that. And I used to love it, man. They used to just be like, breakdancing, having the cardboard boxes out there. And you're a young boy, and you're intrigued by all that, man, because you don't really have too much going on, you know what I'm saying? But you seeing that at a young age, I was like already fascinated,
Mm-hmm.
Like my brother was like, he was into Atari, ColecoVision. I was like, nah, I'm really into this hip hop thing, But he also was into it too, so But like I was like hard body into it.
Any particular artists that stand out as motivating factors
when we were
for you to stem from being a fan to now saying, I want to cultivate and write?
For sure, definitely. I think, speaking for myself, like I would have to say that I definitely was very into special ed. You know what I mean? Because it's from the neighborhood. He was young as well.
Nice.
And I was also into, I listened to a lot of Guru when I first started really writing, because I was like, I was kind of studying.
It always
like,
comes up in conversation.
Yeah. He's definitely like not, like everyone obviously shows respect, and, he's definitely held as a great, but like just really as a real inspiration to somebody. Like I would say his writing was especially in the beginning was very top notch, like and easy to understand because his voice was so straightforward, you know what I'm saying? So you could kind of follow what he's doing.
Very unique voice. When you hear him, it's just that's him.
Exactly.
Unique voice.
So then after that, then it just got crazy with like all artists were coming out, you know what I'm saying? The Tribe Called Quest, the De La Souls, and even like every single like facet of like different styles and that.
But it's
sort
funny
of
you say
stuff.
special ed though. And for you, any particular?
I would definitely say special ed, but like I was even more back in the days. I was really a Big Daddy Kane fan.
Not mad at you.
Hard body, like
not mad at you.
Because I used to know the chicks that I kind of liked.
He walked a fine line. He walking a fine line between like that pretty boy flair and the gutter.
Crazy.
Yeah. He's definitely.
And even the fun guys like Bismarcky, like I just like the Juice Crew and definitely definitely Karis one. Even before then, like I grew up even back in the days, like it was just like, yo, rest in peace the dude from Houdini, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, Ecstasy.
Because I used to love like when I was like in 4th grade and this and that, you know what I'm saying? My pop dudes
we in the same genre, and it's funny because Houdini has a certain place for me nostalgically. Then when I hear these joints, I kind of already remember like what the fuck.
And
He
was very young.
Mad young, son. Like I'm talking about, but that was the gutter vibe, like gutter. Like that shit
come out at night. Things come out at night.
Son, that was some scary times, son. Don't play with me, son. Looking through the project windows with the bars, I'm like, I don't even want to go out there, son. This looks scary.
But then the imagery becomes something like, because this is what I learned about, like now everybody, you have exposure to these artists and you know everything about them, like because of so much social media and all this stuff. But back then, you could make superheroes out of these people because you weren't exposed. You had a little taste, a little like view of them. Like let's say one video. That video, that imagery is like embedded in your brain.
Yeah,
like you'll never forget that stage shot from the Houdini video. You know what I'm saying? And what they were wearing, and like that's just embedded. But that's because the only thing you were exposed to is that. That's why like these people were held as such. Like you hold them.
I would say to this day, you know what I mean, as a grown ass man, there's certain MCs that I meet and I'm like, yo, this is
exactly.
Bow down.
For sure. Also, I want to say also like when I first started like really getting into it, like I would say Kenny was just much more knowledgeable about this stuff, and I went back. Like I went back into the 80s. I had to go back to really like get more exposure to those artists. You know what I mean? Like I didn't get it at the time, but I had to go back because if I was gonna participate in it, I wanted to learn about origins and these styles.
So many,
you know what I'm saying?
So many G's. They don't get no shout out.
Exactly,
love,
the real pioneers. Because think about it.
Shout out to Ruby D.
All that.
Yeah, because the real pioneers, they were doing it.
A lot of Latins in there
true.
too.
Now we could dive. Let's go right into this, right? This is controversial for people, right? So even me being a biracial dude growing up in the projects, where 99% of my friends are black, but you're not Spanish enough for the Spanish crowd, but you're not black enough for the black crowd. You're in this weird hybrid zone. A lot of people don't really, they don't pay homage to the fact of where it's coming from because they don't understand where it's coming from. They don't get it. They're not in the trenches. They're not in the root.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And I think radio, especially radio, didn't do us any favors by kind of putting spotlights on certain artists. Now it gets spun out of control, and then it's just stereotypes.
I think I know what you're saying, like where you're going with it. And I would say that, like, for me myself, I always dealt with that kind of like, am I hip hop enough kind of understanding? You know,
I think a lot of artists for a while was so underrated, whether it be Cypress Hills or super like bro, like don't look at them as a Spanish artist. They were artists at the end of the day.
And there was some just like me. I'm Puerto Rican and Trinidadian.
Right.
That they would just take their black side so that could work for them, but they did have a Spanish side. But they didn't really rep it.
Again,
you know what I mean? That's why I always loved Nori, because Nori repped it from the jump. Even though he's like, yo,
And he found a niche with
he's
that,
like,
of course.
I don't speak it, but like that's what my pops is.
Yep, it's in me,
but you know
and that's what it
in me,
is.
and that's all. It's in me too. Then you can never disrespect where you come from. You know what I mean?
You gotta acknowledge that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Spanish artists they're kind of in that catch-22 where you gotta be urban enough to relate to your counterparts and your peoples, but at the same time, it is a different cloth because it is a different perspective. You could walk you could walk both lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you embrace it,
right,
and you're able to, let's say, like, use it as a one of your one of the tools in your arsenal or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
You go to Colombia.
Yeah, exactly.
You go out there.
It's definitely like
untapped potential for you as an artist.
For sure.
And we were there in the beginning. And if you ever watch a lot of these documentaries, you would know that Latinos and all that. But the thing is, sometimes I think other people felt they didn't want to rep it when it became a bad thing to rep it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
the establishment, the
but who knows that? It's just.
You're right.
It's just that's what people were saying. But I know a lot of people, especially New York, they love to I'm part of this.
Fact.
You better make sure that we are down with this.
But New York, New York bang's different.
I'm saying
black and Spanish people in New York, we birds of a feather.
I'm just saying, like,
leave
out
certain
of state,
places.
They didn't want to be part of it.
You know, the Latino market is there, and
it's a separation. That's like a line on the ground. You know.
Totally. I got that culture shock once I went to certain places. You know, and I'm like, oh shit. We in a whole different side of town. But even in PR, even in Latin countries, right? A lot of, again, and we've spoken about this, but there's a whole audience that are Black Spanish, right? That they're the minority within the minority.
Word.
That they don't get acknowledged, right? So just like you just said, so how many Black Latino artists are out there, but they're not acknowledging the fact that they're Spanish? They could be dark-skinned Panamanian, they could be. But if they're not tuned into the culture, they're not gonna come out and tell you, "Oh yeah, my mom's is actually Spanish," because it's irrelevant for them.
What do you think? You think
but
that?
It does have to do with your rhythm and how you move.
True.
You have to.
Facts.
And people don't understand that,
bro.
Like honestly, that's
do
what
you think that now it's more acceptable to be more culturally like diverse, let's say, as opposed to when hip hop was in its origins, where it was more like, let's say,
absolutely, like
some of the hip hop that it was very like, for instance, when the pro black, like, I'm saying, the PEs and that, like, like there wasn't a lot of that. There would be sprinkles though, right. You got to give credit where credit's due, like, Cypress Hill,
yep.
Kid Frost, and
yep.
we still were exposed to that.
Yep.
But did we look at it in the same light? Like, we always was like, oh, those are the like Latin rappers, let's say.
Well, that's how I looked at it.
Yeah, like we made that separation.
Correct. And that's the shame, where you're holding them to a different esteem for some reason because it's a genre within the genre.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a genre within the genre. And there are very few Spanish artists, bro, maybe Pitbull, that comes to my mind that right away, where like you're forcing your way in and you brought the culture with you.
Yeah, I got you.
I give him credit.
I would say that, but that's more of this future kind of times,
right?
Where it is like that, like people celebrate these things,
totally.
Like I just saw just recently, like they're about let's say what's the next Disney movie? Next Disney movie is based in Colombia, like it's a Colombian cartoon, But you understand, like that never would have happened 20 years ago because it wasn't trendy. It wasn't now because Latin culture and these artists, J Balvin and, the Bunny Bags, but all these type of reggaeton is so big around the world too, that now it's like, oh, we gotta,
and they deserve their time. Everybody, everything, if they work hard enough, you did all the work. Y'all been doing our music before. It's sort of, there's gonna be one day that people are gonna be like, yo, these big reggae artists are really big. We've been stealing their music for years, and they're going to have their time too.
That's a fact.
Everybody gets their time, you know what I'm saying? But like, you have to, you have to put in that work, and definitely they have a big, it's just big. Like, if you look at it, like, we grew up listening to the Beatnuts, grew up to listening like to Curious George, like Cat, because we like, yo, these people kind of look like us, like You know what I'm saying?
And that's even more
we have
attractive
family
to
members.
me. There weren't a lot of people that look like us.
Word.
So like you said, when you mentioned Nori or we mentioned Curious George, there weren't a lot. Like I don't think someone really understands if you're listening to it and you're under a certain age bracket, probably under 30, you don't realize how.
Because now it's a
the
little
red carpet
more,
is rolled out for you, my brother.
Exactly. Yeah, it's different.
VIP.
It's
You got
time.
VIP. You got like you're
The
rocking and rolling.
Yeah, I don't
Times
get it
has
twisted.
changed.
I always tell people I'm a proud black man, but I'm a proud Latin man too. So it's like my moms won't have it no other way anyway.
Listen,
You got a Puerto Rican mom.
Fact.
You know that.
Big
shit.
fact.
She like to walk a Puerto Rican parade.
Listen, that shit is
Dolo.
embedded. It's instituted, bro. You know what I mean? And it's funny because even in PR now, bro, like you walk around, it's being so it's like a land grab right now. It's a lot of foreign investors coming in, and you see the New Zealand flag. You see the
Really?
Yeah. So a lot of people going out there. They're taking advantage of these tax incentives.
Yeah, to
Buying
build it
land,
back
buying-
up because things.
Yeah.
But
Right, but it's always people exploiting the poor. It goes back to
Yeah.
hip hop and what we just said, right?
For
Coming
sure.
from that Young Lords, Black Panther movement, and then you get into the gangs, you get into the gang culture, and then you get into the 70s and 80s and the crack, and it's always street culture at the end of the day, because hip hop is fucking street culture.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
people forget that shit. You know what I mean? It's street culture. But so those are awesome influences. You know what I mean? Just throwing the conversation 360. Those are good influence. You guys listen to any like young artists? Any younger guys you guys into? Any like under?
I would say probably Kenny is more like he's.
Kenny, you
keeping
listen to the
up.
young guys?
He keeps up with the
you like
newest
Kendrick?
artists, right?
Oh no, what are you saying? I don't follow
Younger
them.
artists?
They've been there for a lot of years.
Kendrick is dope.
Kendrick,
yeah,
Cole,
well, he's not
Kendrick,
new. Him,
oh,
J. Cole.
You're talking about like young artists.
Yeah.
Like I don't have no mind. Like I like when Pop Smoke was rocking and all. Rest in peace to him.
Yeah, it was
I like that. I just sometimes I like energy. You know what I mean? It's not always got to be super lyrical. It's just like energy wise. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely like who can I say? I definitely always like the Griselda movement. And them dudes are like our age.
Not to lie.
Those dudes are
You and I
age.
spoke about this, but you're right. I think they are in. Their vibe is total 94, 95, 96 Brooklyn. The beats, easy fucking grimy sample, crazy hi hats. Let's go.
Bars.
Bars.
Let's hit
Just
bars.
bars.
Smash you with some.
I don't
crazy
even
hi-hats.
have choruses.
Fucking bars.
Like-
I don't need a fucking bars. Give me the fucking mic.
Yeah.
Bars. You know
Yo,
what I mean?
rest in peace to Doom, like you say.
So
Word.
I keep smashing them. Rest in peace to Doom, son. This is a big thing for me because there weren't many artists that I would compare myself to with people in an argument where they were like, "Man, fuck your music. You ain't fucking on the radio," and then they put this comparison that for you to be a major artist or successful for that matter, you got to be on Hot 97.
Yeah.
Doom broke that barrier that not only do I not have to sign a contract, I don't have to bow to the gimmick, and I could revert and have my own lane. Yo, that shit was wild inspirational, bro. Like, you just put a mask on and rocked out. Like, stop playing with me, son. You know what I mean? Like, stop playing with me.
Definitely.
Not to say every song is a banger, because nobody got the 10 for 10. Nobody's that.
But look, we all MCs, right?
Right.
So that already, we're a different type of listener already.
Right.
So for us to get enjoyment from Doom music,
Right.
we don't need that.
Correct.
So we
Well said.
for us,
Well said.
that shit is.
It don't even have to
the
be
cream
well
of the
mixed.
crop,
It don't
right?
even have to be well mixed down.
Yeah,
We're like, yo, but this shit still sounds wild.
Yeah.
Like
And it's
the lyrics
wild
are
because
so crazy.
he's over here inspiring that younger generation of Tyler the Creator and
for
Sweatshirt
sure.
Earl and I think for those that younger dudes, I think they're dope. So when you're inspiring, bro, that's like underground. Like what?
Yeah,
And
I
it's
got
so
into
dope.
I got into the other kid that he did records with, Bishop Nehru.
Yeah.
Right.
That was cool too, you know what I'm saying? Like, and those are real young kids.
Yeah.
We're talking about like 17, 18-year-old
Yeah.
kids
So for
that
him to
really
even-
making a
Yeah.
connection with Doom, who Doom is like, of our era
Fucking
from, being,
three
7
years.
Up
It's
X
like a
and all
3-generation gap, bro. Like
that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's from like 3 eras. Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
He
Whoa.
was down doing things with third base at the time when I was
Yeah, we were listening to those like
We're
records,
we're
you know,
teenagers.
KMD. We really were
Brooklyn,
like
Queens.
into that. You know?
I had
Brooklyn,
I had
Queens
my
is
guy
one of my
that you know
favorite
from
songs.
Williamsburg with the gallery. I
Yeah.
had put him on the Doom, and he was like, I never even heard of this dude. So it wasn't until after the fact because, of course, when you pass, people pay homage.
Yeah.
And he said, "Yo, I never realized he had that body of music." I said, "Bro, I've been telling you for fucking.
Oh man, it's ridiculous, bro.
Been telling you forever to check the
This
Lord."
was how far he was able to, like, I guess how many people he was able to reach with this concept of like when he came back types, you know?
Right.
On the way here, we were talking about how, like, where we were, like, when we were doing music, and then he came in, and then it was just like he took off. Like he was like, you know, people just held him at a higher regard than any of.
And
like,
again,
the
we're saying this as artists who we're from the '90s, but we could still grind out now. We have our own lanes of movement. But when you see someone like MF Doom and how he can take it to that next level,
sure. And
branding 101, bro. Like when you think the mask, no other artist will ever try to outdo the comic gimmick. Like he did.
For sure.
And I think it was the music. Yeah, everything just hit at that time for him.
But he got the bars.
Yeah,
he got the bars.
And the music just hits. Like if you listen, like I listen to it, like, and I'm like the samples, sometimes shit be offbeat. It just like it embodied the times that we was in when we was at the New Yorican, when we was fucking, when you knew your friends was boosting low and you were trying to get shit on the low. When you was doing, it embodies all that shit, bro. When you drinking St. Ides 2 for 3s, when you was doing it, he embodied all that shit, bro.
That's
like,
for sure.
I swear, anytime I listen to that shit, bro, the other time, New Year's Eve was like a sad day for me, bro. I was like, damn, why they can't tell me New Year's Day? Because New Year's Eve, I couldn't even enjoy it.
Bro.
I was kind of sad, bro.
Bro.
I was sad. I was like, yo, this is how we end the year? Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie.
This gotta be Doomsday.
I ain't gonna lie. I was pre-gaming and I was like, fuck it, son. I'm making it an MF Doom kind of.
We gonna go all day?
I was just doing that for hours. In the basement rocking. I got the vinyl too. I was just like, man, what?
Yeah, I feel you.
Crazy, man.
Yeah, Doom, like when he popped back up, and we were like, we seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I was there.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we first did his first show, he didn't even have the mask yet. It was like a stocking cap, and we didn't know who it was because he still tried to like conceal his face. And then we're like, and then it was like, you know, chatter. It was like, oh I think that's Devil of X, like that.
Yeah, that type. And we like Peach Fuzz. He like he always like. So Peach Fuzz is our joint, and we
Peach
love
Fuzz is my joint, son.
Like, yo, that's him. And then it was like, you know, from that moment on, it just took off. It was like he was the, you know what I mean? He became like that reference point for that, you know what I'm saying? And obviously it has to do with the amount of talent he had, like his lyricism, his production.
Yeah, but he has albums out that like did shit. It didn't in comparison to what someone thinks of as success or successful. He put albums out that were.
I mean, he put out a lot of music in that time.
You know what Bobbito said recently? He was like, oh, but you know, he never sold millions of records. But actually, Bobbito said he has 2 gold albums. He has 2 gold albums. He has Mad Villain, and he has a thing with Danger Mouse that'll pass 500,000.
Yeah.
So he has millions of records sold.
Yeah.
If you look at it.
Yeah.
See, nobody knows that.
He said it, but
it just happened like recently to be known that it just went gold. Yeah, that's the crazy shit.
Fucking crazy.
So Bob, I seen Bob talking about that recently.
Another good hip hop Latino and pioneer in the craft. And, you know what I mean? I love tipping my hat off to people that kind of break the mold. You know, but so again, let's go back. You know what I mean? Let's reel it in. So. Once we form this group, We Be Foolish, where do we decide that we're gonna take this craft serious and we're gonna blast off?
I would say that really what we were doing is we never really had the idea of putting out records or being
right.
We just needed to try to be good, right?
Yo, Steve, can we get another round of brewskis?
Yeah. So we was recording. That was like most important to us, right? If you would agree, we would just spend time on a daily recording. Like we would meet up and record and try to get good at it because we wasn't like
it's like playing pickup ball.
Yeah.
We was playing pickup ball a lot.
So we'd be like, we'll show up. We have, whoever's involved that day, whoever's that day. Like it's not even just us. It's like whoever shows up.
Right.
Like, yo, you got to write a rap, and we have the beat rocking and just let it rock, and everybody writes, and then we figure out how to record. Like, because we had to figure it out. Eventually, we understood. We taught ourselves multi-track recording, and this equipment. How we gonna, everything has a starting point. Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah,
everything.
Dave, you're the best. Thank you, brother. I got it. Yeah. Slide that beer over.
Everything has a starting point. That starting point for us, we didn't even know how to make it. I'm speaking for myself because I wanted to actually try to make the beats.
My brothers, cheers.
Cheers, bro. Yeah. Cheers, man.
Cheers. Salud.
So we ended up, like learning about that stuff, doing more research. It's not like now, like you could go on the internet and be like, what equipment did you use to make
I will admit
The World Is Yours? Like, what I'm saying? Like you could get that information all at 1 second. So at that time, at that time, we just had to figure it out. Like what is going on here? Yeah. And we were making mistakes, buying the wrong stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like buy something that can't, but then we would push that machine to the capacity. You know what I mean?
Because he is definitely a dude that like from the pause tape, he did it all. Like I seen him.
Perfectionist? Would you call yourself a perfectionist?
No, just trying to create.
To create with what we had.
He didn't want to wait on nobody. He didn't want to wait on nobody.
Like, I was thinking about it, like, I bought an MPC, 2000, years after I had a record.
Great piece of equipment.
I didn't even have a piece, like a real sampler piece, and I already had a record out. I didn't even have one. Because it was a financial thing, you know what I'm saying?
So I bring it back. So for the listener, as a group, because again, this is a group up here, pioneers, hip hop culture, New York type shit. The first vinyl that you guys put out, where you figure out this is gonna move, we're getting momentum.
The story is more like this. It's like we already was recording, we were perfecting our skills.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're getting better at what we're doing, and then an opportunity for me came. Where somebody who I was building with was like, yo, I have this opportunity where we can record, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like, yo, it was his project. And then at the same time, then I got involved, and now it became a new became a new dynamic. And then this person introduced me to the New Eurekan, to the idea of going into the city twice a month and trying to get on stage. Like these type of things and then I would come back and be like, yo, Ken, this is what I'm doing. This is what I did. Ken, you want to come? Let's go to the New Eurekan. Experience this with me.
And listeners, again, this is a classic take of History 101. When we say New Eurekan.
Yeah, for sure.
I know New Eurekan because I've been blessed enough to get up there and spit mine.
Word.
Let the people know what New Eurekan is.
New Eurekan, I was put on by Saya. He told me, he's like, yo, I go to this place. Bobito, who we was listening to on the radio,
right,
is the host.
Who has the hottest show
at the time
for our genre of real New York hip hop.
Yeah, so he's like, yo,
you had to be up at 1 o'clock on Thursdays.
I'll let you boy.
I'll let you boy.
So he's like, yo, I've been going to this place. It's at the Village Gate. Now it's at the New Eurekan, and you should come through. And I'm like, yeah, I want to see what that is. Right. So we went there, and then once I realized what it was, like I seen this people's talent, like the people that was getting on stage was way past what we were doing. Like seriously, like we wasn't even scratching the surface.
Polished artists.
Not that they were completely polished, but raw talent was like they were so much more advanced in what I was trying to do. That I took that as like, yo, we have to step up. So I would come back and speak to Kenny and be like, yo, we're on a good path, but we really got to do this, and we got to add this. We got to figure out how to write like this. We got to, like everything I do.
New Eurekan will motivate you though.
I'll put it like this. Look, like I always say this because I really believe it is. Like Kenny is a natural talent.
Right.
Me, everything is study. Like I have to study it, figure it out, and try to get as good.
That's a good yin and yang, though, right?
Yeah,
Ken, that's a good yin and yang.
Yeah, but I would like also say, he would say that because like, but also I was kind of like always, engulfed in this game, in this hip hop game. So it kind of came to me naturally like that,
right?
But not the skill wise and knowing how how to really write bars.
But that's dope. You compliment each other. That's dope.
So E kind of helped me with the technical part,
right,
and help him with the natural feeling of
right.
how we got.
That's how we got. You know, we got better as a collective, right?
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
because we all bringing something different to the table.
Yeah.
My thing was more like, you know, that one experience of going into the city, right? And I know the people that were on stage, like by name, you know what I'm saying? Like I still know who, like I remember seeing these people and being like, damn, these guys are so advanced. Like, why am I not doing, why am I not at that level?
I gotta step it up.
But that was not important because now I started going all the time, every month, all the time. And then I was like, yo, now it's like I'm building up to that point where I could compete with that.
Those peers to this day have become my friends.
For sure, 100%.
Have become life. Those peers that at 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, I'm looking at and we're ciphering and we're rapping around each other and we're listening to beats. They have become lifelong friends.
For sure, man. That's 100%.
Through this culture.
People I know from the New Eurekan, like we literally last year, before all this stuff that happened, whatever, we was like, yo, we need to use like the fact that we all were part of something and that we knew each other and we're all still friends and in communication, that we need to we need to create something for that. So we did create that, you know what I'm saying? And we were doing it at Beer Wax and we were just playing beats and doing,
yeah, man.
And you know, like those people are friends that I, you know, to this day, like
and like-minded dude, because when you see what he's promoting, and salute to him, you know, good establishment, you know, independent Latino. You need to like be you know, really supporting these kind of people. But
of course.
We need more establishments like that are gonna really grind out and say, I love New York underground culture. I love these types of artists, this type of vibe. That I'm gonna embrace them in my business. For sure. You know what I mean?
100%. They gave us the platform to be able to do our showcase.
Amazing.
You know, 90s now. That's what it was. That's what it's called.
I remember.
We had to kind of slow it down because all this stuff that's going on. But you know, it's not like we don't see that as an answer, a place for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when people see it, they'll be like, "Yo, I belong to this," you know. And we were going through all our Facebooks and hitting people up that we knew from that era come through. Like, we want to see you. Like, we want to, you know, be in our presence because
it's a good feeling.
You know, it's dope.
It's
a
great
amazing
feeling. Yeah.
So anyway, when I decided to do that, I was like, it was my boy Saya. So he's from a neighborhood right next to us, Manhattan Beach. So we're like, you know the dynamic. Coney Island, Brighton Beach in the middle, and then Manhattan Beach. So he also was into the same things that we were into. Same rapping, same watching.
Talented MC.
Bobito, listening to Bobito. And then when we were introduced, it was like automatically like we connected in a certain way. And the same way, you know what I mean? Like I felt like I was learning from him. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like I was learning something that I didn't have. Another little thing to my arsenal. Like, you know what I mean? Not that he wrote more technical, because he definitely didn't. He had something else that I didn't have exposure to. So I was like, you know, became friends, and it was like we were automatically like, you know, like learning from, and he's learning from me, we're learning from each other. And when we go to over there, this is how it was. It was like, sign up to, we're gonna have 10 MCs and 10 poets. So you put your name in a hat and they pull it out, right? And then, you know, obviously I would put my name because I was there. Yes, with the Poet D. And he would put his, Saya. So he was like, yo, like one day he got called. So I was like, yeah, you know, cheering for him, you know? Yeah. And then like months, because it would be hard because there's so many people, everybody raps in there. And there's only 10 spots. Of course. So we're like, yo, we should put our names together, bro. Fire. Saya and Yeshua, you know what I'm saying? And that way, when we do get the chance, we both get it.
You get a twofer. You get a twofer.
So we did that. So as soon as we did that, like I said, it took so long to get to that on that stage, let's say, that we already been there so much that we learned so much from each other, from Kenny, from being there, from the other artists and trying to beat it to that level, that when we got on stage, we crushing, you know what I'm saying? And people are like, yo, who are these like funky, like, they're like quirky looking, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna...
Good transition when you say about the aesthetic of how you guys look is even more on the samples that you guys choose to rhyme over, right? In general, right? So where where does this come from in general? You want to break that down?
Yeah, I would say like I don't know. Like
I would say like we were just listening to
It's different.
all types of music, and definitely when him and Sai was getting together, like I used to kick it with Sai sometimes too, like because we lived in the same neighborhood. Like if he wasn't around, I'll get up, we like blaze a J or drink or something and kick it too about hip hop. So like sometimes with people don't understand, like we was all like team.
Of course.
So it didn't really matter. So when Yash and Sai got together and they did their thing, still
you guys have a nice.
It's still team.
A lot of those samples are very jazzy, very melodic.
You be a team player.
Just to answer your question as specifically, there was a record store that was over the bridge, like walking on Coney Island Avenue. And that store it was a huge space and it had mad old records. So I would say a lot of what I made in those times is all what I bought there, right? So when you go in there, it's a financial thing, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can't spend $15 on a record. You can't spend $10. You got to go through those bins, right?
And we're hip hop heads, a real hip hop head.
And then once I already knew that our greats, the Pete Rocks, the Primos, you know what I mean? Q-Tip is a great, you know what I'm saying? Like that, how they were putting it, like we were learning from trying to figure out what they were doing.
Yeah.
Be like, there was no website saying, yo, Grover Washington Jr. sample. Yeah. But when you put the record down and you heard it, you're like, yo, he took that. So now I'm going to buy this record, or I'm going to buy the record of that artist from a different, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then now you kind of understand what to do. So then that's a lot of the stuff that was in that store, let's say, like their inventory is what made our sound.
Go figure.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think people realize the lost art of maybe vinyl sampling. I think it's like a lost art, bro.
Is it lost?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I had interviewed DJ Shock and he begged to differ. He thought that, it's coming back.
Right.
But I think the way you guys do it and you're chopping a lot of these jazz kind of loops are fucking dope, bro. The aesthetic is nice, feels good. It's not the normal New York beat per se.
I think at that time we did definitely, the people who was listening to, like I would say he was listening to a lot of we was listening to some Souls of Mischief at that time, and they was doing a lot of that.
Right.
He was a big fan of that.
For sure.
And you know what I'm saying? And we're big fans of Gangstar and definitely Beatnuts, and they did something similar.
Yeah, man.
So it's like we made sure it's like not all jazzy. It's like, yo, if the shit sounds good, like if it's popping, you kind of hear it already. You on it already. You already feel it.
And Ken, I noticed you got the PH hat on right now.
Yeah, rest in peace to PH.
For sure.
I actually put it on when I found out one of my mans passed. Rest in peace to Sharif, that he passed.
Rest in peace, brother.
Yeah, in the past 24 hours. So rest in peace to him. And
PH was
it's
a
like
good dude,
yeah,
man.
and PH,
that was my guy, man.
And it's so much hip hop dudes pass, and I don't want to really get into that because I don't want to get emotional.
Of course,
some real shit.
Of course.
And like a lot of people pass, hip hop people, real artists.
Yeah, that's
what
a fact.
I'm saying? It's my mother went to go visit my uncle today. You know what I'm saying? At his grave. So it's just like everything hit in one day. But I'm still here, and I just want to be here. And I love talking hip hop. Hip hop makes me happy.
That's
thank you, brothers.
And you know what?
Thank you.
I'm beyond. Yo, salute, cheers. Cheers to the real, man. Yo, again, you know what's funny is that I don't think people understand how we really live the culture. Like we breathe it, we live it.
Yeah, we love it.
Just because I ain't make it to the NFL don't mean I stopped playing football per se. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. The niggas don't stop watching football.
I didn't become a professional baseball player, but I'm still playing softball on Sundays with a bunch of wild ringer Dominicans. I'm like the only dude that barely speaks Spanish and shit on the team.
They're like, yo, put him in second base.
They're like, yo, Yankee, you playing center field. I'm like, all right, no doubt.
You left out.
Center field.
You know what? I was talking to one time, one of my boys' pops, he was like, I don't understand. I'm gonna say there's a lot of black people in baseball. There's a lot of black people. They just speak Spanish.
Bro, that's
but I was like, you tell them, they'll be like, me no black.
Yo, it's crazy like that. Yo, so yes, I want to go backwards. I saw that you pulled out the starter coat. Yo, that is blazing.
I wanted to bring it to that era, dude.
Yo.
You know what I'm saying? Like that shit is like that's a staple.
Does Five has that?
Yeah, that's the other thing. That's why I copped it. Though.
Making a statement, you pull out your starter coat.
Five has that and the first Tribe Called Quest album.
Yeah, like
on the first Tribe Called Quest album.
It's funny, man.
Perfect.
I'm sorry, my brother.
Yo, I remember for a certain hot minute, there was a tear of people getting smacked for their starter coats.
Bro, think about that era. Like everybody had one.
Nah, but not like I went to a PAO game in like CI.
For real?
And I left that shit on the bench. And when I walked back,
like, wah.
Yeah. It was hot.
There were certain coats at the time. There were certain ones that were, if you had that shit on.
The Bulls or that one is a
The Bulls, the UNLV.
At least they didn't take it off my body.
Oh my goodness. You got that one? You got the UNLV?
A black one. You know the black, not the one that Tupac got on, because Tupac got the red one in the video.
That shit is
I bought the black one. Mint condition too, bro.
You see what my people are doing? They're killing me. My guys, these guys be living it for real.
Yo, at least I didn't get hit for it. I'm saying because the CI shit could have got really real, bro. You know what it is, bro.
What? That like the Browns one too was crazy. The Browns that had like the reverse colors. Oh, the Vikings one that was ill.
Bro, a lot of people, everyone had one, a different one somehow. Back then, I had the Yankees, like, you know, bad standard. You know what I'm saying? With the script.
I hope you didn't have a Mets one.
Nah.
The Mets one was kind of dope too. The black one, and it had the Metropolitans.
I know. I'm sorry. I
remember. That was shout out to my Mets fans.
I know shout out to my Mets fans.
Yo, shout out to the Mets fans.
My mother and my father are Mets fans.
That was in junior high school.
Yeah,
like, the straight junior high school.
That's total.
Like, for me, you know? That's the era. I remember, like, all that. Like,
I remember hanging out with Kareem, Reef, and they rolling down Avenue J and like Coney Island Avenue, smacking koofies off people's heads for starter coats. And I was like, fam, I'm out here with a fucking driver's permit. I'm like, yo, I'm not even supposed to be driving right now. We smacking koofies off people's heads, man. What the fuck is going on?
I don't talk about shit I did in the 90s. That shit is left in the...
Leave that in the past. Leave that. Let's keep it positive in hip-hop, you know what I'm saying?
So speaking of positive, let me ask you, what you think race relations and hip-hop, what's the connection? You think because of hip-hop, it's eased the race relations?
At one time it did. I think it just got back to the bullshit again. I don't know what happened, but I'm gonna tell you. Like,
where does hip hop fall race relations? Where does hip hop either become the beacon of light, become the spear?
We need to try to, you know. I'm not gonna say we all need to get along because that shit is just not gonna happen, and some people don't believe in it.
I think I think hip hop. For me, I really think hip hop broke barriers in the sense of there were a lot of random.
Oh no! At that time,
there's a lot of random white dudes right now they're probably 18 years old that are so turned up to black culture. There's not a racist bone in their body.
Oh no!
In the exterior, maybe
my friends
in the
I
interior.
grew up with my friends I grew up, I think it definitely helped them out very well, you know what I'm saying? Because if you think about it in the 90s and people growing up in the 80s, definitely was like, you know, their parents is teaching them some other shit. But
of course.
But hip-hop culture definitely changed. I know a few dudes that I know that I'm close with that definitely hip-hop helped them out. You know, just dealing with other people and everything because they were taught different and they would tell you straight to your face, you know, like, yo. I mean, in everything, like, even remember when M came out, everybody was like, yo, we was.
So why does M get judged? So why does, I know Latin artists do, because we spoke about this, right? We confirmed that, it's actual and factual. But when you look at someone like Eminem or across the board, why do we keep putting color on the premise of talent?
Yeah, I think,
if you're nice, you're nice. That's it. If you're a good bowler, you're a good bowler. If you could bat up, clean up, and you're hitting home runs, you're hitting home runs. Why are you the Dominican ball player? Why are you the why we put labels on people?
Well, you know, in general, people, in order to understand stuff, they need to put labels on it. That's human nature. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you.
That's why when we used to go into a record store, everything was labeled perfectly, so you know where to look.
Right.
And where things land. Like
This is the
what
genre.
music, this is where it lands, this genre. As soon as they start crossing and different, being confusing and all of that, people add those labels themselves.
And the
right?
media too. And the media pumps that shit up, social media and everything, and it'll be like, I mean, if you look at it right now, they'll be like, oh, the world, everybody's not getting along, and they will say the same thing about, you know, the hip hop, like we're not all getting along well, and you know, we don't like each other, we don't. I mean, but it's a lot of shit more pumped up than reality. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me that I can't walk around. I live in a Russian neighborhood. I still walk around. Ain't nobody coming at me like that. It's nothing as bad as you. But you know, they will pump it up like nobody likes you. You know what I'm saying?
Don't
like,
get it twisted. They're all Russian mobsters.
Oh no! I'm just saying. No. What I mean.
I know, but there are people who have never been to New York, never been to Brooklyn, and don't know Brighton.
Oh yeah.
There are people get it fucked up. Like I used to live in Brighton. Don't get it fucked up.
Oh, Brighton is real.
You will have some brolic.
Oh no!
Russians jump out the beamer on you.
I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about you live in a neighborhood that's predominantly white. That's what I mean.
Because I will be marking this podcast to Russia too. You know what I mean?
No, I fuck. Shout out to all my Russian women.
Word up, man.
You know what I mean? I'm always gonna keep them in mind. And my Russian homeboys. You know how we do.
But yo, what I wanted to say is there's two different ways that you could look at it. You could look at it as a like more local U.S. way to look at it, and a more international, global way to look at it. Like as far as hip hop, like I feel like when you look at it globally, it's crossed all those lines out right out of the sand. There is no separation. People from every country, and luckily I've been blessed, and Kenny's been blessed as well to experience Europe and
I want you to talk
go
about
to these places and see how hip hop culture really affects their life. And it's very similar to how it affects our life.
Right.
Even though they're not, you know, like it didn't happen where they didn't start where they from, but the way it hits them is even harder sometimes. Like these people are dedicated to the culture part of it. They understand it. They study it. They have, you know, like the exposure, like even it took a long time to get to that point, I feel, like in certain places, like where I'm from, where my family's from. But when we used to go to Europe, like straight up talking about early 2000s, like not that that's a long time ago, but when we went, it was like hip hop culture. That's why we was there. They was
bring the audience
us
back into circle. So how does an independent artist from New York book his own shows in, you know, Denmark and other places you've been?
I would say now I couldn't tell you. I don't know how it's done now because I haven't done it. But I would say in those times there were certain key people that you needed to figure out who they were, and then once you kind of were plugged into them, you could. If you had some reason to be there promoting something and you fit into their program, they would include you, and that would mean that you would be able to be on a, you know, 7-city tour in Europe. You know what I mean? Like we did me and him did England. Yeah. I went over there. I did, you know, some more countries. I did Germany, France. Like I went through a lot of countries. I didn't realize
you did Germany too.
Yeah,
Germany's dope.
Yeah.
I went to Holland, Norway, like all type of places based on what I was doing, you know?
Yeah. And we went to Norway. We did a little Europe tour, like over there. Like,
and again, this is why you guys are up here, because I want a younger guy who's listening to this to say, oh shit. So you stepped out of your bubble, you took your craft and you brought it to another level. You micromanaged it, you found a lane, and
I would say to give you the real, like the way that like chronologically how it worked. Once I really started like going making music with Saya, the opportunity that arose from that was that we could put out a record because we went to the New York and it was crushing it.
Right.
So Bobito was there and he offered us a deal.
Right.
He said, I got this record label. It wasn't just from our stage performance. We were giving him a demo. He played it on his demo night. You know what I'm saying? Because now we were recording really high quality demos, well thought out. Me and him was like, you know, connecting in a certain way with John Adler, and he was putting it all together. Like I said, I didn't even have equipment, but I was producing some of those joints.
Right.
I was just bringing records. I want to put this piece over here and this and over here, and then we would make those records. And then we would give them to Babito because we just wanted to hear it on the radio.
Of course. That's a big cosign right there.
Yeah. And then Bob came through
thing.
and he knew that we were rocking on those stages now as Saya and Yeshua because we needed to write it like that.
And Ken,
record it.
You're around at this time.
For sure.
You're like,
Oh yeah, I'm
was
around. Like we was already making all music together.
Yeah.
So
and again, give
what
the
makes-
listener the whole context of the group. So it's you guys. Who else?
It's Bobby, it's XO, and DJ Bless.
and
Us
DJ
four.
Bless.
Right.
And then our like peoples from the neighborhood was basically involved in supporting that, where we
Big time.
eventually formed a record label.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So once that opportunity that Bob gave us to put out a record, we could understand what it was to actually produce a product that was in the marketplace. And then I did another solo record. And then now I'm like, yo, why am I doing it through these people? We should be doing this ourselves.
Amen.
So this is like forward thinking when you're young to really do it. You're willing to risk it because you don't really understand it that well, but you're learning as you go. And sometimes it's like, you know what I'm saying, like shoot first, you know what I mean, and then see what hits. Like, you know what I mean? Like not always think it out so much. So, you know, I got
Put it on the wall
together.
to see if it sticks, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
For sure.
A
So
lot of
then
times.
I'm like, yo, if we're gonna do our record, we're gonna do this same thing. We need to do it as professional as possible, and we're gonna record it. We're gonna produce it, manufacture it. That's the beginning stages.
Yeah.
Find a distributor because now we have those like they seen my record. That shit was popping. There was writing about it in a certain light.
yeah, so it all works.
Yeah.
It kind of works.
So then
like
now we're
that.
like,
Yeah,
yo, let's
right.
take advantage of that because we've been team before these records and we already had ideas of putting music together and now we could do it professionally, but we got to do it ourselves.
Right.
So we wanted to form that label. That's Head Bop Music. We did that. It was me, my dude Borcho, and Mike Swift.
Shout out
And
to
we-
Mike
yeah.
Swift. Shout out
And
to
we
Porcho.
we decided to put our heads together, our money together, and be like, yo, we're gonna be the label. Our artist is We Be Foolish, which obviously in those times I was wearing a lot of different hats, but it
Correct.
was
I hear
because I was the most informed. I think that's really what it was. It wasn't that I had more drive than anybody, nothing like that. It was just I had more information to share with everyone. Like, yo, let's do this, let's do that, let's do that. And then once we got it off, we did it ourselves, like straight up from not knowing anything to actually forming a product that's in the marketplace with a barcode. That's a big accomplishment.
That's a big accomplishment.
So
Yeah, and my friends looked at it like, yo, when you start seeing people move, other motherfuckers move.
yeah,
That's all. When you seeing people move and
Yeah.
shit is going,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it motivates everybody else. Like,
Yeah.
yo, I want to be kind of part of something. No matter if it's bad or good, you know what I'm saying? You still want to be part of something, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see it move, people are gonna move. That's what I always tell people. You gotta motivate people to move. If you got a movement, you
'Cause
gotta
you
do
need the
something.
people. 'Cause you need
because
everybody.
Yeah, because everybody want to say, I do this for Dolo.
And
Nah.
being from Brighton, like that's a good gimmick within the gimmick because there's not a lot of people that's falling.
Well,
in
we
that.
had Todd Terry, and
Right.
that's our one
Right.
dude that and he just show us love too. But he wasn't trying to do no hip hop shit. If we was doing house music, he would have been with it.
Yeah, he got it.
You know what I mean?
He got his own lane. He got his own lane.
Me and Eve used to talk to him. We was trying to
We're like,
we was trying to see
we gotta
what he
create
did.
something.
But
Yeah.
he did do Reasonable Doubt, so I know he still gets paper from that.
Oh, hell
but you know
yeah.
what I mean. So, but I guess he was looking. We was at Hove and shit.
Perfect. Thank you.
yeah.
That's a funny shit. That's funny shit.
So like that's what I'm saying. We needed everybody to be in. We need that movement. Like he's saying, it was like we're gonna start it off. We have the artists, we're in-house, we're the producers, we're the rappers, we're the, you know what I mean? We have to be the people doing all the work to manufacture. Like I remember sitting in Borcho's house, because we got the records, but we have the stickers, but we have to put the stickers on the records. You know what I mean? So everybody was sitting there putting the sticker on the record. Like those type of moments is when you really accomplishing your idea. Like
Labor
you
of
really,
love,
that's
baby.
the
Labor of
labor
love.
part,
Yeah,
right?
man. Yeah.
So
Labor of love. Yeah.
when we had the opportunity, it springboarded more opportunity.
So how do we get the passports? Get on a fucking plane.
Yeah. That was when.
Go away.
Well,
how does this
what
work?
happened is now we have a distributor, and the distributor is like, yo, give me more records. But we're in a situation where we can't really make more records until you pay me for the records that you know what I'm saying? So now it's like we have to figure out other ways to do it. So we're going around, hey, we have an album. We need a distributor that can press and distribute. P&D deal. Fat Beats gave us that opportunity quite a few times because they were like, make it faster.
So explain to them what type of deal this is and how it
Yeah, it's just basically like as they deal with a record label, they do a press and distribute deal. Instead of you making the product and giving it to them at a wholesale price, they're actually just manufacturing because they already have the plugs into that to manufacture it. You give them the artwork, you give them the masters, and then it's still your record. But now they're manufacturing it, and then it's just a quicker process because they're streamlining it, you know. And then they take they take their money back, they recoup what they invested, and then we split the profits a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So when those opportunities came, we got to put out more records, and then eventually it led to our album. And when it led to our album, now it was like times is moving, you know, like it's not the same. 5 years goes by and you know what I mean? Like the same situation is not available as then because the delivery of music is different. Right? It's in that time period when, you know, digital music was coming in like hard. So now the vinyl market, which what we were doing just straight up records, like 12-inch records. And when we want to put our album, we're like, yo, what's up, Fat Beats? We ready?
And notice how he said album. He didn't say single. He said album.
When we got our album together, after we let in with a bunch of singles that they did for us, they were like, yo, we can't do it anymore. And I'm like, why? And they're like, it's just, there's too much of a schedule. It's not the same, this, that. And we're like, we still got to push forward, right? So we went back to the idea of manufacturing our own and then still have the agreement that they're gonna take it.
Bro. Super indie.
So we went and we're like, yo, we can't really afford to make double vinyl, this, that. Let's make CDs because CDs are still viable.
Yeah, it was
still relevant at the time. Yeah.
And then if we make the CD, these people have their word that they're gonna distribute it for me. The same distributors that have been distributing our other music.
Dope.
And it gives us a way to hit other people off the one stops and that sort of stuff.
Absolutely.
So at the time, Ocho was very involved in that and really making that happen, like, you know what I mean, contacting the one stops and the smaller distributors and trying to get as much of it out as possible. And then that happened is eventually somebody's like, where's the vinyl? We want the vinyl. And we're like, it's not being made. We'll make it. So we got a group, a distribution company out of Germany that's called Groove Attack, who made the double vinyl and the CD again for their market. So now our record is out in Europe, but it's not being manufactured here. You know what I'm saying? By the time it gets to where we're from, it's marked up all the way, but it's being sold in Europe, that's leading into the part where we're talking about is going to Europe was opened by all of these steps because now Europe know who We Be Foolish are. They want to see these people because they're flying in artists from these type of artists.
Traveling is the way to go, and you guys were traveling at one point. You guys were busy. You guys were very busy.
So and that's how that opened up for us. That you know what I mean. Then I'm like, yo, Ken.
Oh yeah,
get your passport, bro. We going like we gotta go.
My first trip, I didn't even go with him. I went with Saya.
Yeah, I could.
And it was to do music with some other like everything was kind of grooving at that time. You're looking at it like
you guys were doing a lot of shows.
It looks good.
Man.
Like if your boy could say, "Yo, you could go on this."
Get those stamps on that passport.
Yeah.
So yo, let's get right into the meat and potatoes, right?
Yeah, for sure.
How you guys could do a top 5 with your movies, with your hip hop movies?
Movies,
yeah.
Okay.
Top 5 hip hop movies.
Together, we'll do it together. I think it has to have Crush Groove in it, right? Like it should have for all time hip hop movies.
I love Street Beat.
Beat Street.
Beat Street.
You gotta have Beat Street down there, right? You gotta have.
Yeah, I have a copy of Beat Street on DVD. Like I copped it and you know what I mean, and wanted to have it in
Wild Style's definitely.
Wild Style's dope, bro. You know what I'm saying? Wild Style.
Nice.
So let's say that's 3. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop movies, but you know what? Movies is different because you could kind of like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily have to be like about like, you know, hip hop artists or whatever. It could just be like it's a hip hop movie. You know what I'm saying? So there's a couple like that. What would you say is like?
I like Paid in Full. You ever seen Paid in Full?
Paid in Full is
I like
Paid in Full is
Paid in
dope,
Full.
son. I was just watching it the other night. It was like 4 a.m. I was like, I'm watching this shit.
It had a lot of like hip hop.
It make you want to
in it.
hustle again though. I ain't gonna make you like, yo, let me grab something.
Nah, Scarface make you want to hustle. Stop playing games. You watch Scarface made a lot of hamsters into drug dealers overnight. Son.
And hamsters into rats too.
Tell me not. Like, what the fuck? Yo, so on the part 1 of this conversation, we were talking about going to foreign lands and hip hop and the influence of hip hop. How you guys got into this? We even talked about your top 5. But again, I want you to touch on performing in front of a different audience in different countries. How's that feel, man?
I think it's amazing. It's probably one of those type of feelings like, you know, when you think back, you have a moment in time that you know, like you'll never forget.
Yes.
You know, like we'll always be able to be like, yo, remember
all
that?
Of you guys? All of you guys went?
Not in every specific like, you know, tour or show, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But like just in general, like performing, you know, when we went to England and we did like a 7-city tour in England, like all the different spots, like we have, you know, shows that we can think back to and be like, yo, you remember the time when we did this
iconic.
one? And it was like people were going crazy in there. Like, how the hell did we even get to that point that we?
And shout out to the DJ because they love the DJ.
Yeah, the DJ.
My boy Bless is over there getting all the love. Like we over here spitting, sweating.
Shout out to Bless.
The nigga scratching.
But he was doing the live cut, the cuts on the spot.
Cuts on the spot?
Yeah, he was just like, the song.
Damn.
Europe loves the DJ.
We was well rehearsed at those times. Like we really spent a lot of time practicing and getting our show to that point where we could be like, all right, we're gonna do the live cuts, you know, of the song, and you know, we're gonna, you know, have our set very like polished and, you know, transitions, and you know, we went all to the because we wanted to take it serious. Like
what country you think has what country in your mind has the biggest underground audience in the sense of you put something out there and tuned to that vibe, that frequency. They're on that frequency.
In Europe, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say in Europe.
Holland?
I mean, nah, I would say the big cities. You know what I mean? Like the UK and Germany. Germany was big. But we went to Denmark and they had a really dope scene there. There's
Denmark is always supporting
a guy named DJ Typhoon who's from
Typhoon
and
shout him out.
They had the most dangerous weed in the world.
Yeah.
We was smoking that dangerous weed. That shit that you see in High Times at that time. We was smoking that shit. I remember we gonna leave that shit in the hotel. We ain't even bring that shit with us, nigga. We was like high like for days.
Who else on the bill when you guys go to Denmark?
Really Foolish and
there'll be different people that just
from
locals.
From there. Like sometimes it was
super dope.
I went on one tour. I went by myself that time. That's when I already was dropping like a solo record. I went and it was with this group from Cincinnati called 5Ds. I don't know if you know who that is, but the guy named Fat John and like his group, and we did a tour together, and that was in Germany, and you know, some of the outskirt like type countries over there is like you can get from one country to the other driving there, you know what I mean? It's not like here, you know what I'm saying?
Nah,
like,
absolutely.
The country is vast over here, you know what I'm saying?
They love hip hop.
And
culture,
but one of our most important tours, let's say, as We Be Foolish, was in the States. You know what I'm saying? Like we went, like we put that together ourselves. That's why I'm proud of those times the most. Is we could connect with a promoter and he'd put it all together and we just show up and we're concentrated as artists. But in like we did a tour, What You Need tour, and that was to promote this We Be Foolish, our first album. And when we went, we had the responsibility of everything. You know what I'm saying? It was like, we rent the van, we book the shows, we show up, we go to the next city, we figure out where we're gonna
but
stay.
but
crazy stories.
again, this is the definition of indie
Mad
underground.
indie.
That's why it's Cheerz to the
Yeah.
real, because I think more artists need to take a playbook from that.
Yeah,
and
because
they need
not
to get
everyone.
on board.
Look, if the opportunity is not given to you, it wasn't like people like there was promoters in all these cities. There was those people,
Right.
but there was nobody who was like yelling out for us, like, "Yo, we want y'all." We pushed it on them. Like,
Right.
we had to be that forceful to be like,
Definitely
"Yo,
go-getters.
yeah,"
like,
to be like, "Yo, we're
definitely
gonna go
go-getters.
call. Let's figure out because we got to go this way. So let's call all the. Let's figure out who's the promoters in those areas and the stops we make on the way there." And I'm talking about there was one period of that tour where we did a show in Minnesota and the next show was in Texas, and we had to drive to Texas. So that's like there's nothing in
Wow.
between. Like there was nothing in between. It was just a straight road all the way to Texas.
Wow.
So that's how, like the amount of places we covered, not that we stopped everywhere, but we just were on the road. Like that really felt like being on the road.
And the
You
thing
know what
I
I'm
remember
saying?
about Minnesota is that they actually gave us the nicest hotel we probably had on the hotel, and we couldn't even stay there.
Yeah, because we
Why?
had to leave. We had
We
to
had
be
to
in
leave.
Texas. Just
Oh,
happened
like, yo,
you know what I'm
just
saying?
happened to be. I'm at a great spot,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
and I
yeah.
gotta go.
And
we
on
gotta
that
go.
on that tour, like I said, because we put it all together,
I
now we
remember that
was
shit
already
clearly.
developing the label, and we were starting to figure out what's going to be the next artist and that sort of stuff, right? So Jedi was one of the artists. He couldn't go, and also Subconscious. So we
No
decided
doubt. Two dope MCs.
Yeah, so he came through Subcon, and we still needed we wanted two opening acts. So it was Subcon was one of them, and we brought Ace Lover. Because
Lover.
Ace Lover was kind of in our circle, and we were like, "Yo, he's
Yep.
he's put together as an
Dope
artist that
MC, got his
so-
own movement.
So then we took him on the road, and that was the whole tour. It was like the What You Need tour with them, and then they lead to
Dope.
We Be Foolish
Dope.
as the headliner. But that was amazing time, man, because those are the times like what the first thing that you said is like what stands out in your mind. Yeah, that's not an international one, but that's the one I feel like that was us. We did that, like we made it happen. And everybody
Shout out
played
to-
their part.
Ace Lover was definitely, Ace is so good in those shows.
Yeah,
he
for
kinda,
sure.
He kind of like showed me, like, I know I could perform good. I always like, I'm going to do my rhymes well. I'm going to look at the crowd. I'm going to make sure everything's well. But he showed me, like, you got to give him some extra.
Yo, shout out to Ace
You-
Lover.
you gotta-
Charisma. He had charisma.
You gotta
Definitely a
show. You gotta
character.
show them. You gotta show them a little something else.
Yeah.
So you learn from everybody.
Last time I
man.
saw him was in the Ville at like 6 in the morning. I was like, yo, what up, son? What we getting into?
That was a
What we
real
doing?
shit.
Yeah, what we doing?
What we
I was
doing?
about to jump on a train. I saw him. What's good, son? What we doing? Son about to come up.
Oh, I miss that old New York when you could see a nigga like yo, what we doing there?
I miss South Brooklyn where you could just walk the boardwalk and it just
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
good.
yeah.
It's for
Can't even walk the boardwalk no more. I had a
remember-
cop
I
on me
remember-
with the
I'm-
bike. He was like, "Get off the bike!" I'm like, yo, fam, slow up.
Yo,
Slow up.
they shut down the West Fourth. What's the name? McDonald's over there. That shit was the most hoodest McDonald's ever.
That was
like yo, that
that
shit,
McDonald's.
Yo, you go to West Fourth. You go through anything over there. Like you don't see
I don't think
Fat
people
Beats.
understand.
You don't see Grape of Pie. You don't see a lot of shit over there, and that shit just feels
Cripple pies.
really wild, bro.
Yeah, it's
It was
classic
like when
New
I
York
walked
shit.
through there, like not too long ago, I was in the city. I walked through there. I was like, that shit don't even feel the same.
Nah.
The whole energy.
But
And
just-
then you
but-
took
but
out
just
that West.
cutting through-
I never went to that McDonald's because that
Nah, that
shit.
shit used to be that
You
was
get it-
slumlord millionaire shit, son.
You get beat up by some dude that look like a girl, that look like your
You
boy,
get,
that look
yeah,
like your
pretty
cousin.
much. You get,
Like it's a wild
you get
shit, bro.
stomped out by a
Like,
by an
I was trying to keep it politically correct. You might
You
get
don't
beat up
want
by
that.
they.
You don't want that. Yo, that's that old iconic New York, bro. That's that old New York, man.
So we gonna keep it right there.
Funny.
What I was gonna say also is it all comes full circle, man. You know what I'm saying? Like we had that time period when we were really active and that sort of stuff. But the reason I want to focus on this is just because like we're here now, you know what I'm saying? We're here sitting here with you, and we still have the ideas of being artists, like that we're artists, you know what I mean?
Right.
Regardless of success or not success or whatever we're into in our lives, the same way you continue as an
Amen.
artist,
Yep.
we still have that. So sometimes you get blessed. Like these things come full circle, and these opportunities just show themselves to you and give you the opportunity to feel that way that you felt 20 years ago. How does that even happen?
You know, this guy another beer, man. Stop playing me. Yo, salud, primo. Yo.
Well, how does that happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's because of all the, like, the people you reached at those times. That now this is the effect of that. You know what I mean? The cause is that you did all that work, and 20 years later you can still feel the fruits of that. You know what I mean? That the fruits of that labor.
Yeah, 100%.
So 2 years in 2018, like, you know, because now social media, you could connect with different type of people and that sort of stuff, and people were reaching out to me before about doing a show in Colombia. You know what I'm saying? And that was something. That was something that we've spoken about this. That's something that I always was like a dream of mine. You know, because it's something like it's like something that has to do with my family, like my culture,
the root, baby, from the root.
And that there's a platform for what I do there is like the biggest thing in the world to
now
me.
again,
you know what I'm saying?
Again, listeners and my people, you know, if we're on the same frequency, you know, Latin America, especially South America in general, is totally tuned in, turned up. They're like
for sure
Latin trap times 10.
Exactly.
Living it, doing it. They busting their guns, they wilding out. But in Colombia especially, there's like this niche and aesthetic like movement of 90s boom bap.
Yeah, exactly, man. And
it's crazy.
And to think like it took a certain amount of time to get to that point.
Right.
But if you go there, you'll feel like how it was here, because we had that too. Like we had commercial music, and then we had the underground, like the art, you know, those little like pockets of more to the point hip hop, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they have that there. They studied what we did 20 years ago. That's how I had an opportunity. That's why they were reaching out, like, yo, we want to bring you out. I'm like, why? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't understand it. But now there's a, you know what I mean? There's a place for that.
That's beautiful, man.
There's a venue for that. You know what I'm saying? So I got to connect with some real hip hop heads, like just to like like puts together everything. Like these motherfuckers is into graffiti,
bro. They love the culture,
vinyl,
bro. Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Facts. Like every part of it.
It's a beautiful culture when you realize it. Like we realized it so many years ago when we was young, and when you realize it probably in your 13, when you're 14, it could be a beautiful thing, bro.
They're just getting.
It could be awesome.
My Latin people are just waking up because now it's third generation, so to speak. So the second generation, let's just say like ourselves, we was already hip to the hop, right? But now the offsprings, those hybrids, they wild turned up.
Yeah.
You're talking about Latin trap. I was like, what the fuck is Latin trap? Just call it trap. I was like, it's just you just.
Yeah. Why you want it? But they need to do that because that's the genre. You know what I'm saying?
They're like, this is our own shit.
Yeah. That's like we got our own version of that or whatever. Like, you know.
I got you, son.
Yeah, but that feeling, bro, that really like was. It like.
How was Colombia itself?
Well, Colombia,
I've never been. Ken, you been to Colombia?
I want to go. I've
never been. What's going on?
Colombia's a beautiful country. There's a lot to look at. There's a lot of beautiful places. Like, you know what I'm saying? We have all climates. We have all of that. You know what I'm saying? From the mountains to you know what I'm saying? Like
to the other stuff.
To the jungles.
Yeah.
Straight up. So like there's everything in between, and you know what I'm saying? There's, you know, I can't talk about what's been going on in the last year or so, but in the last few years I've been spending a lot of time there. And you know, going back like consistently, which I didn't do for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like I went when I was young, and then I started going a few years back, and now I've been going consistently, especially now that I've discovered this world. Like this world is something, you know, there's people in there that, you know, besides them looking at me and being like, yo, you're like a forefather of this scene in a certain like a indirect way. Well, it wasn't like I went there.
There's a few people that follow me now on the gram, and I see what they're doing, and I'm like, oh shit,
that's so beautiful, man.
Bro, like through him, and it's like I feel like I'm plugged into this little cyber universe. They're banging out beats in the moment. Smacking that SP. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
And then when you go there, and that world exists to you, that's something that you have in your memory of like your you know, your heyday type shit. Like that's beautiful, bro. Like you go there and
like
besides experiencing,
it's like Swift and them, they go.
Yeah, exactly.
They went
like
to the Philippines,
and
then my boy Jay Hung
I'm
over there.
gonna have Mike up here next month.
And,
Nice. He's coming.
Yeah. So and Jayhan, who's from Turkey, and they definitely influence a lot of their peoples, bro.
When I see what Mike is doing, I told him,
and it's like beautiful to know. Like I grew up around all types of people.
Yep.
And I always tell people, and they're all influenced on some hip hop shit. And one way or another, probably me or E or somebody. It's like I don't take no motherfucking, like give me profit. But I know I influenced them being around them because how much I love the shit, and then they started loving the shit after. Sure. Like, damn, Bugs is really like into this. Is like, but it was always a positive thing. It was never like, it was like sometimes it could be some street shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it could be a positive thing when you broke, you trying to get some money. But it was mostly like, like we trying to make music,
culture,
love for the culture, love to like, you know what I'm saying, to entertain, love to dance, love to be around women, love to just have a good time and actually just leave your mark on this world, bro.
Amen.
You know what I mean?
No, well said. And as it should be. I think everyone, where we at with technology and the rap game should be waking up a little bit, got a little talent, got the story, got the content. You should be putting it out because you want to leave your mark. So you got at the end of the day is your legacy, your mark, your credibility as an artist, your content.
I got a little girl, man. I want her to be like, if God forbid anything happened, be like, at least my daddy, he was out here, he was rocking.
He had the creative spirit.
He was chilling. He was a good, fun guy.
Amen. Listen, that's what it's about at the end of the day, man. Legacy. It really is.
But you want to leave money too, that too. You know what I mean? Don't get it twisted. I want to leave more than that, but that's a good starting point.
Hell yeah! In a perfect scenario, you leave both. You leave culture, you leave art, and you leave money. You know what I mean? Like,
art is important. But this is some of us. This is our art.
I like how now where we are, our art form is considered art.
Yes.
Right. So it's, even though I was teasing you being nostalgic about starter coat. Right. Yeah. So all that is real 360 because it's part of the culture, bro.
For sure.
And these are all things that, whether I'm flying out to Tampa or cruising to another country, when you see someone that got that aesthetic, you're like, that dude is hip hop.
Yeah.
He's hip hop. Because I've been in the middle of like Atlantic City, and I see this dude looking mad stiff, wearing a suit, and I look down, I'm like, he got Jordans, the ones on, he gotta be cool. He's making a point. Right? I even told you not too long ago, I remember on the group chat, I had said, there's a doctor I had met through work, and he was blasting, I think I told you he was blasting like something random. Oh, Poor Righteous Teachers. Oh, shit. Was bugging out. Bro, it was culture shock for me.
Yeah. What song was that, Lakeisha?
He was like, rock this funky joint.
Yeah.
I was like, that's
my joint.
Like, we caught you off guard.
He had the drop top, and it was like, shit, you just broke the mold.
I was in Seance and dude was playing. I'm not gonna be able to do it. I was like, I love that song. Every time I hear that shit, I'll be like, I'll do that same shit in all shit too. I'm not gonna be able to do it.
Yo, why does hip hop? We're gonna wrap it up soon. I gotta go on. So why does hip hop not have an iconic kind of Hall of Fame?
I mean, I think it does. I think it does have it. It's just because it's a Hall of Fame, right? And it needs to be like done by somebody who could actually pull it off. It's a commercial version, you know what I'm saying? So the Hall of Fame that we have has, whoever was considered, the big acts, or I mean, I would assume that people like PE is in the Hall of Fame, or the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but also there's, like that's, I don't know.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is another level of.
Yeah, but what do you mean? You saying nobody put it together? Like, this is our Hall of Fame.
This is our Hall of Fame. This is like a hip hop Hall of Fame.
I mean,
that I could go to, and it's at this location.
Who would do it though? It would be like somebody who's in a magazine,
very plugged in that we could get.
It would have to take. It would have to take the Jays and the Puffs and the billionaire dudes, and
that when you walk in, no different than Cooperstown.
But if they do it, are they gonna feature MF Doom? You know what I'm saying?
I think they would be forced to.
Forced to? Like, you think that they not that they don't know about it, they know about it.
That's the whole point. Because you know about it and because you die when you're young.
There is one in the Bronx, but it's not that It's not that crazy.
No, it's not that crazy. I'm talking about full-fledged, just like you go to go see some goddamn dinosaurs, right?
Yeah,
And you're
yeah,
wild.
yeah.
And it looks
So
looks very nice.
You're gonna go see some goddamn hip-hop culture, and you're gonna be fucking wild.
Yeah.
Because we're living in a situation now that a 5-year-old that goes on a field trip, you could very well likely go to a hip-hop museum.
Yeah.
And meet about, and see Melly Mel in a fucking hologram.
Yeah.
That-
And art, like all type
That's
of
beautiful.
visuals
That's
and stuff
beautiful.
that you
That's
know.
a, that's a dream. That's a dream.
It's gonna happen. They already got the holograms, right?
As a hip hop head, I would love to see that. I would love to go there and like to really, like you said,
you're gonna see Lee, Lee will be in the fucking hip hop
Yeah.
Hall of Fame. Lee, right? Boogaloo, right?
A lot of people of different
Rest in
facets
peace to
of the
Boogaloo.
culture.
Fat
You know what I'm
Boys,
saying? Like-
Fat Boy. Oh yes, and no, what's the name? Who died? The dude from
Breaking.
Breaking.
Electric Boogaloo.
yeah, but what's his name?
Did I mispronounce his name? I thought it was
Nah,
Boogaloo. It's not Boogaloo?
Boogaloo is the black guy.
Oh,
Boogaloo
is it?
It's Boogaloo Shrimp. The other dude is.
I just forgot his name.
I'm sounding
Yeah,
real bad.
yeah. No,
We're gonna edit this part out. No, but
regardless, we
Boogaloo
know
Shrimp
who
is
you
the-
are. We acknowledge, brother.
For sure.
Yeah, we're gonna find this nigga.
Nah, we acknowledge. You could jump. You could ask.
But Joe,
Shorty
you
on
ever
your phone.
seen Van Damme in Breaking?
Yo, don't play with me, son. He's in Breaking on the low.
Yeah,
Is he really?
breakdancing.
Is he really? Yo,
I'll send you the footage.
So-
dog.
this is fucking bananas.
So's I.C.
Son, I'm gonna go home and watch that shit. Yo, shout out to Van Damme
Yeah.
B-boying in the
Yo.
fucking flick.
Not only that, yo, you remember Black Sheep?
Oh,
Yeah.
Shabba
He'd be like, Van
Rest in
Damme.
peace to Shabba Doo.
Shabba-Doo.
Oh, Shabba-Doo.
Thank
Yeah,
you
yeah,
very
yeah.
much, my
Shabba-Doo.
friend. Shabba-Doo.
Yo,
Rest in peace,
remember
brother.
Black Sheep?
Of course.
Van Damme.
Damn.
Van Glorious.
Oh, he
With a Cadillac called Pinky.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't know what the hell that nigga was talking about.
Classic, vintage shit.
I know them niggas are super racist.
not even. I just seen the thing with what do you call it? With Brother Jay. Yo, he's eloquent, bro. He,
Oh,
he,
yeah,
could,
no, I was
he's
gonna
dope.
say.
he could
He can
know,
spit. He's
Not
dope.
only just spit, but he got
I thought they
knowledge,
wanted to
bro.
kill every person.
Nah, not even.
They didn't look like them in sight.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So, Dave, thank you, brother. We wrapping this up in about 7-8 minutes because, of course, we're on a time slot, and this is the Cheers of the Real podcast, and this is part 2
Thank you, though. Appreciate
of the interview with the We Be Foolish movement over here.
it. Yeah.
So, before we wrap it up, I want a youngster who's listening to this who's like, what? What's the movement they got going? You know, I want someone to see it. Luckily, you guys do have a lot of content on YouTube. Thank God.
Yeah. I mean, we have the luxury right now to say that other people at some point have embraced our stuff and they've put it into the world on the internet. Let's say.
Yeah.
Like me personally, you know, not to get too deep into that, but I'm not really a big supporter of streaming platforms. You know what I'm saying? Just because I don't feel like there's really I feel like they're making a lot more.
They're making a shitload.
Yeah, and like you know,
I do use them, and I feel like almost there is no middle ground. I have to use
that's fine.
something to get.
Because we don't know how much a stream is worth.
Yeah,
Allegedly,
so-
they tell me on a podcast I need 1,000 streams before they want to talk to me. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
nothing. So
Yeah,
you need
yeah.
to tell me 18. Okay, 18 times how much? Okay, so
Yeah,
let's talk.
exactly.
So it's
Yeah.
funny how they come with this calculation based on a stream, what a stream is worth.
I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
that for our music, like it's from a capsule in time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So some of our stuff is dated in that way.
And that's the value.
Yeah, and there's value in
That's
that.
the value.
And the opportunities that we create is for our new music, not for our old music. So I don't feel like I'm losing anything by having it available to everyone to just go on YouTube and check. And I don't make a penny off of that.
No.
I feel
used
like
to be
that's
strict.
good.
See, I used to be the opposite. I used to feel like, nah, fuck this. I work so hard
That you should be
that
compensated.
I should be at least compensated that for 6 fucking songs, you can pay $1, right? But then, as you notice in the last year and a half, I just been going bizarro, fucking berserk,
Putting stuff
just
out.
nonstop. Because now it's like, I don't care about the revenue. I really
because
don't.
because when
And
you look at
man,
it,
yo, respect to you. I see what you're doing, and I realize like when you do things like that, the consistency, you will gain what you need to gain.
Well, the movement is there
Consistency.
because now it's making me do the podcast. It's making me have other like avenues, even with the art show. You came to the art show.
for
I invited
sure.
you to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? XO come DJ and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Again, if I can bring in 100 people to my art gallery / original content, and I'm dropping an album.
yeah. It's all
New York Underground hustle. It goes back to what you said, booking your own shit.
Yes.
Just grinding, bro. Grind.
People will recognize that, and it would all come. It's all will come back as long as you're consistent with it and you're doing what you need to do. I believe, brother. Everything you will see in the next year. Like you'll be like saying, "Yo, Bugs, shit different." My consistency, all that music I put out,
right?
Because I think the best times we ever had is we consistently putting music out.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So as long as
especially now with the attention span of people now is very different because
you
so
might
much.
have to put that shit
it's
out.
Delivery. Think about the 30 seconds or 10 seconds you gotta wait
with TikTok and stuff. Where
no, I'm just saying.
giving you know.
Think about what you gotta wait to see the video on YouTube. Those 15 seconds is too much for you now. 15 seconds is too much of a wait.
You made me
to
wait
hear.
15 seconds of my life for
because
an infomercial.
Because there's so much information being thrown at you all day. Like your day starts, you right away. You're consuming. So they're pushing it. You know what I mean? These old platforms are set up to give you to tell you how to think already. You know what I'm saying? Or what you want.
Mm-hmm.
So for us as artists, that's really about art, like our music and what we want to say, our message, our skill, how we put stuff together. Like we can't just join the crowd. Like we can't just say we're gonna do it like this. We have to create our own methods of delivery and participate.
There's strength in going your own route.
For sure.
You need to be a lone wolf at times, and you need to go your own route because everyone is very cookie cutter with the art right now.
Sure.
Everyone's very cookie cutter. They're reliant on the middleman, right? So the artist is reliant on the gallery owner. The artist or MC is relying on the studio or
too much of your team. You know what I mean? When
crazy,
it's not everybody's gonna show up. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like sometimes, like you said, the lone wolf. It's sometimes people have to take it there. Like you have to be the lone wolf. You might have, your co-D, and that's sometimes all you need sometimes.
Right.
I've seen people, just me, my co-D, my engineer, that's all. We getting it popping. You know what I mean?
I think that's what fucks a lot of artists up too, is they lose the morale because they might not have their 2 or 3 peoples on board with the idea. So they'll say, yeah, I'm an amazing artist, and I should do this t-shirt company, but they get roadblocks. Or, me and my man, we're going to start this company, but they run a road. Instead of saying, I'm going this regardless, and I'm going to finance myself, or I'm going to incorporate myself, and most people don't do it. They're reliant on someone else's energy.
Not everyone is meant to not meant to take risks. You know what I'm saying? Like some people are built a certain way, and
true.
Some people just they don't now willing to go into those uncomfortable
Shout out to all the
spaces.
Clones.
Yeah, but if we're talking about like your art, like nobody's gonna respect it more than you. Mm-hmm. So you have to create the way it's being delivered. You gotta say this is how I want things to happen. And then you got to move in that direction. So when we spend time I see so many different levels of it. Like you see people who are, they don't really know all of that. They don't really have those feelings like, yo, I'm trying to, I'm going to find my own lane. They're just like, yo, I want to join what they're doing, right? And then you get lost in that shuffle. Like that's why you don't stand out. That's why you're it might not be a special thing. You know what I'm saying? So for us, we're lucky. We're mad lucky that we even could think this way. You know why we do that is because we came from where we came from. We came from those, like that creative energy. Like, our influence is different. You know what I mean? Like the guy who's coming up as an artist now, he sees the guy on TV talking about all the stuff he got and how paid he is and all that. And you know what I'm saying? And then obviously he's going to want that path. for us, we got to, you know, we were listening to certain type of music.
Well
we were
said.
looking up to certain type of artists, you know what I'm
said.
saying?
Yeah.
Style artists, people that's about style. And you know what I mean? Like, I say it all the time, like, you know, like people like Grand Puba don't get the credit they're supposed to get because if you really look at it, he influenced everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Facts.
So why, you know, like, why doesn't he
Check the
get...
legend.
Yeah. Why doesn't he
Check
get
the
the
legend.
props like that,
exactly.
whatever, you know what I'm saying? And that's where we're at in as artists now is like we're getting older, so we're looking at it and we're not gonna take the shorts like and just be like, yo, you know, like easy for, you know how many times people call me all the time, bro, like that have contacted me like, yo, we want to put, you know, I can't find none of your music on Spotify. I'm like, I hope not, because if they do, let me know so I could sue them.
Right.
Because I don't want it there. That's why it's not there. I don't want the music on Spotify. Right. Cool, yeah, it'll stream. Maybe somebody will hear it, but nobody's paying me for that song. They're paying it for the service. They making money off of my back.
Yeah,
and I don't want to be part of that.
And you guys are a rare breed of people.
I realize the way we foolish is sometimes on things, and I be thinking about it sooner or later. It's like they gotta get off that, because I'm like, I'm not seeing nothing from that. He ain't seeing nothing from that. Like,
you know what ends up happening sometimes is like we've done so many different type of records. Like I've done records with other people. And other people, they're the ones, that's their stuff. Like, I'm on it, but they're
paying for X, Y, and Z, and they're looking for the double up.
Well, no. They're going, like, what I mean is they're going in directions that I necessarily wouldn't go. So I can't tell them not to do it. They funded that. That's their operation. I'm on it, but whatever. I don't own that. So I know nobody's gonna, you know, like, do that with our music, like the shit that we put together and the stuff that we have like as our thing, you know, and sometimes, you know, like you know, just to elaborate on the, like, on this concept is like, let's say like the record that I was talking about, the Psy and Yeshua record. That record is really the biggest record that I've ever been involved in, and it has to do, the reason why is not because it's so readily available. That's not why. It's because it's so exclusive. You understand? And that exclusivity created a mystique about it that gave us the platforms that we needed to move forward. So I don't worry about that record. I worry about springboarding off that and creating all these other lanes that we made for ourselves. We Be Foolish. Right. My solo stuff. Like the next records, if you want to do it differently, you're going to do it with your next music. You can't always go back to that one record. People have offered me deals all the time for that. But that dealing with that opens up a can of worms that I'm not ready even to deal with. Legally, exactly. Yeah. I'm not ready to jump into those. You know what I'm saying?
I had DJ Shock up here. And he was talking about
I've spoken to him. Bro. I've spoken to him about it because he doesn't use samples no more, right? He told you that.
800,000 in back pay on samples and
Yeah.
100,000. Talking
after you get the bread too.
You talking a house in Tampa?
What?
After you get the bread and then
800,000.
So there's a lot of ways that now as an artist, like people could, like, you know, they always want to say, oh look, there's platforms everywhere. You can just like, but those platforms ain't designed to help you. They're there if you don't have an idea of any other way to do it. But you have an idea of way to do it. You have a plan, a direction that you're moving towards.
You're the architect at that point.
So that's why you focus on that. You, like our age, our group, our people, because we understand that. You know what I'm saying? So like I have music that's ready to go.
Right.
I have it done, like straight up.
Right.
And, you know, obviously I can't spend all my time, you know, like figuring out how I'm gonna put that out in music and all, because I have so much other stuff that I'm trying to develop and outside of that, you know. But at the same time, I know that I'm not gonna go the okie doke route for that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do it right to the people that actually want it, and I don't care if like I don't even make a penny of it.
Still recording?
Not as much, but I do have some joints and new joints that I have unfinished that I want to do this year. That will definitely be coming out this year because I've been fiending to put it out and shit. So it's gonna come out.
Before we leave, I wanted to mention,
and we'll get up.
You have a great kind of crazy emoji floating around with you, Mos Def.
Oh yeah,
Cypher one?
yeah. That's like a
Yo,
big. That
shit is you need to highlight whoever created that emoji, bro. Be like, yo, I need to get paid.
Yo, but you know what it is? I ain't gonna
Shock
front.
Mos Def and highlight them, take it down.
I'm not gonna front. I'm not gonna front. That day we was chilling and this and that.
What documentary is that again?
The freestyle documentary.
No, wait, is it?
Yeah, it is.
I thought Rhyme and Reason, no?
Nah, it's from the freestyle documentary. I think that everybody.
Oh, and they took it from.
They cut
rap
it from,
bastards.
They cut it from the evolution.
Yo,
evolution
son, you took the
Evolution.
clip from the original and they threw it on their own documentary.
Is that what happened?
Because it's in Rhyme and Reason.
Oh yeah, they definitely did that.
Yeah.
You guys were in the Ville ciphering.
Yeah.
That's a big clip.
Yeah,
that's like a very viral.
That's a
viral.
But the thing is, I always tell everybody is like, yo, Bugs, they ain't let you. I said, yo, but you know what? I set that shit off so hard.
But you there like this.
I set that shit off so hard that Most thought he had to murk it. He thought he had to murk it for real. Because he never, like, I chill with Most a couple times. And he never, like, felt like a need to freestyle.
He looked like a whole different Most Def.
But once he see the camera and I murked it, that nigga said, back the fuck up, nigga. I got some shit for your ass right now.
Crazy. Yo, so we're gonna end up wrapping this up right now, man. So I want you to give a little a gem, young artist coming up, maybe some words of advice. How can they make their project tighter? Maybe something they could do that they're not doing now. Just a quick little gem you could throw at them.
Right.
Well, I think a lot of cats is doing things that I need to learn. You know what I'm saying? They could give me some advice. But at the same time, I think just keep being consistent. Keep going. You know, don't always move whatever the new music fad is going.
Right.
Just stay with your lane.
In your lane.
Stay in your lane and let your lane get
Good
bigger.
one.
If you like
Got
if you like different music, go for it. Go for that type of style too. You know what I'm saying? Don't always stay in your lane, because sometimes niggas just stay in there and it sounds like the same song. Sometimes you just want to switch it up, whatever you like, and just stay consistent. I think consistency I've seen helps out so many artists.
As far as content, right?
Yeah. Consistency, and like I've seen from a lot of artists, whoever it is, they start growing. They start, growing a fan base, and I think consistency
is key, baby.
Consistency is key.
Yeah, 100%.
You gotta stay on their neck, nigga.
You gotta stay relevant.
You gotta stay on their neck.
I would say, I think to be an artist now is different because there's no filter, right? So when we came up, we had these labels and these A&Rs that were picking and choosing who would be our heroes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But now we don't have that filter. Like that system is different, you know?
Right.
So now it's based on how do you with so much content, so many artists, so much people, how do you get through to the people? The only way I could see that happening is you have something special, right? You really stand out from the crowd. You have something so I would say work on your craft and really perfect what it is you do great, right? And capture that, you know what I'm saying? And then when you feel like that's when you're ready to go at it.
Whether it be photography,
whatever, everything. You got to be working on your craft to the point where it's not about copying, it's not about competing, it's about being great on your own.
Self-driven.
Yes, not thinking that you're the nicest nigga off the top. Because I know kids,
100%.
that be like, yo, who can fuck with me right now?
That's a confidence thing that people mistake as drive.
Right.
Drive and confidence is different. So when you overly confident,
passion and cockiness are not the same strategy.
Exactly.
Yes.
No. Yeah, my advice definitely is like work on what it is that is your art. You know what I'm saying? Like make that really, really like great, and then you could put it into the
We be
world.
foolish, don't play games. So listen, I wanna wrap them up, and what new projects we got going on? What can the people expect? What can they tune in? Someone listening to this, driving to work, vibing out. They're saying we be foolish. They want to know what's going down, man.
Well, luckily we have a lot of music that you could just get for free. You can just listen to on the internet. So that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But in addition to that, I have a two-part project. It's part 1 and part 2 of a project that I recorded with
music.
it's a music project. It's about 10 songs each project, like 10 IDs, you know what I'm saying? So like 7, 8 songs, and features a lot of. It's produced by my friend Souls, from also from our neighborhood, you know, from the area, and you know he's a good, really talented producer. So I wanted the whole thing to be his production, and we got together on it and really did it.
Shout out to the neighborhood, man.
Yeah, he works with he had worked with Nems. He had worked.
Yo, shout out to Isaac from the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Shout out to my man Omar from
Bragging
the
Rights.
Oh wow, Omar.
Shout out to Bragging Rights, man.
Oh, Bragging Rights was dope.
Rights. Yo, shout out to Bragging Rights. Hell yeah.
We could get into it.
Yeah.
You know how long.
But yeah, so I'm want to drop that first. You know, once I get that first one going, I feel like there'll be some momentum to really come through with the second one. And then the other thing is, you know, recently, you know, I want to celebrate this. Is that, you know, we're older, we're all in our own worlds, we still really great friends, and we still communicate, and we still find a way
that's a blessing
or want to get together and still make music as a collective. So we be foolish, you know, we've been in those type of discussions, in those type of meetings.
I would say a few singles, and definitely what I'm definitely doing by the summertime is like merch with old singles. Like you can get vinyl and buy merch.
There you go.
So I'm thinking by like in June. I don't like to talk about it too soon because I'm working on it.
What?
By June and this and that.
That's an exclusive to the hip hop mass
some
right
merch,
now, man.
Some merch and some vinyl at the same time you can cop.
There you go.
And probably a new single or two.
For sure.
Out that time.
So like We Be Foolish has still got like something to offer for the moving forward. 2021.
Still got some gas in there.
Yeah, there you go.
You gotta, listen,
gas in the tank.
That's why people are up here at the Cheerz of the Real podcast, because everybody got a story. I like saluting like-minded people.
You want to end your story right.
No,
I
listen,
thought myself.
I think this is the last hurrah for a lot of artists that I think need to be putting out that content. This is the time, you know what I mean? Because this new year has a lot of blessings for like-minded people, you know what I mean? Salute.
Thank you,
yo,
man,
my brother.
Always respect, always love.
Always,
you know
bro.
That, you know?
Always neighborhood shit. So again, you guys want to listen in? Like he said, free music. We Be Foolish. You know what I mean? Stop playing games. Put it on your playlist.
Check us out on Spotify. I think we on SoundCloud. We all over the place.
All the goodies.
They all getting paid from us.
Exactly. All the goodies. This is the one, the only Mr. Tom Brody. This is the Cheerz of the Real podcast. Blasting off his art, his music, his culture. You know what we do, man. Yo, cheers to the real. Yes, sir.
Cheers to the real. Good vibes only. Putting in work and recipes to all the homies. Yeah.